Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is INX Prime Live. Remember, we are on your screens every single Monday to Friday between the hours of 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. Now, today we are chatting about a very important documentary that is actually in South Africa right now as we speak. The documentary film actually is called Gaza's First Photographer, tells the story of an Armenian who moved from Jerusalem to Gaza in 1945 and opened its first ever photography studio. Now, in the film, we meet his archive keeper, family, students, and people who knew him. For the first time, we get to explore through the eyes of Kegham's lens, seeing how he exceeded and succeeded in making photography a popular trend for all people. Now, we're very fortunate to welcome Palestinian filmmaker Marwah Tibi, who actually directed the film in particular. Assalamu alaikum, and thank you so much for joining us tonight on INX Prime Live.
Good evening.
It's a pleasure having you. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm so excited being here, being in South Africa, a very close friend to the Palestinian people. I'm welcoming every South African, wherever he is. Thank you for all of your support.
No, and thank you again for coming through to be able to share this amazing documentary with us. And the South African people really do enjoy it and love it. I just want to touch on exactly that. I know that you spent some time in Durban at the Durban International Film Festival. Tell me more about that experience. Wow. What has South Africa been like for you so far?
That was an amazing, amazing, amazing festival. This is my first time in South Africa. Durban was my first town, and it was amazing, you know, to meet all of the industry there, to see people coming from all over the world. You're speaking about 85 countries. And thanks for the Palestinian Film Institution that organized the fact that I will be here with other Palestinian filmmakers to share our projects and screen our films. It was an amazing experience again. Thanks to the Palestinian Film Institution and, of course, for the Palestinian Embassy that helped me being here today with you.
Yeah, a lot of people are very excited for the documentary, and we are getting a lot of comments and, you know, questions coming in from social media. We'll cover some of that in a bit. I just want to touch on, you know, this story in particular. Now, we know that it's this Armenian guy, you know, he moved to Gaza in 1945. I just wanted to understand the story. Can you tell us a little bit more about showcasing this important story in terms of history?
Listen, it's an amazing archive. It's actually an archive that's been attacked in this war. Not just this archive was attacked in this war. We lost a lot of archives from Gaza and a lot of cultural places and people. You know, one of the Palestinian writers spoke about the film and says, a film that lost its people and its places, because Marwah Jbara, the archive keeper, was assassinated, killed in the church when he actually ran away from his house to escape and to be in the church. He got killed with his wife, and it was the most old church on earth. A lot of places like Al-Masjid al-Umawi also was destroyed. So most of the photographs that you will see in the film are photographs of places that do not exist anymore. You know, usually we call archive. My film became archive, but it's not actually archive because, you know, you call something archive when it's 50 years old. But my film is 3 years old, and it became archive because everything in the film is not there anymore. If we're speaking about places, and we're speaking about very old places, and, you know, to see Marwah Jbara under the rubble of the church, and to see the archive under the rubble of Marwah Jbara's house, and something that people won't see in the film, but I'm doing that with a follow-up film. You will see the son of Marwah Jbara going back to the house with destruction around him, trying to rescue what left from the archive. The first time he rescued 30 photos, 30, out of hundreds. And then he put himself in danger again, and he went back to the house, and he rescued kind of 50 to 60% of the archive. You know, to rescue the photos is a dangerous mission because, you know, the shelling is all over the places. So actually this film could be an evidence for a cultural genocide.
Very, very true. And I mean, just looking at some of the visuals as well, you know, it definitely looks like it took some work to be able to get such incredible images and videos as well. I just want to touch on the feel of 1945, because I mean, obviously you've experienced looking at all of these different photos and videos. You know, Gaza in that sense in 1945, it was 2 years before the Nakba. But, you know, a lot of people would be surprised to think that it was quite cosmopolitan back in that time. You know, all the Jewish, the Christians, the Muslims, they were all living quite peacefully together, right?
Well, yes, Kegham was living in Jerusalem beside a Jewish community, Muslim community. You know, they were all Palestinian. Even Golda Meir got a Palestinian passport. So for him to leave from Jerusalem to Gaza, by the way, was a very beautiful step because he was the first studio in Gaza. And he managed actually to arrive at 44, 4 years before the Nakba. So what you're seeing now in Gaza, you can see it in the archive of Kegham for the refugees of 48. It's unbelievable how it's similar. You see the tents, you see the growth of the refugee camp, and then the building. And now, none of the building remain because it was destroyed. So in Kegham film, you can look at how Gaza look like today. Actually at 48, and today it's very similar, but now it's much more crucial, much more. Now it's death everywhere. Like right now, I'm filming another film about Palestinian football players, and they are young men in the age of 15, 16, 17, and you know what? The resilience of those young men is amazing because they continue searching for just a normal piece of land to play football and to maintain their body because they believe that in 2025 they can make it to the Asian qualification. Like to see this resilience among those young men, it's like breaking hearts in the same time and make me proud as a Palestinian mother to see those children. And actually I show this to my kids to be empowered by those kids as actually not kids, young men. And I think they can empower every single boy in their age to resist and to keep it to their dream and to fulfill their dream no matter what.
No, without a doubt, and we hope that they do end up making it in 2025. I hope they do end up getting through those qualifiers. But just touching on, you know, the lot of questions that we are getting from social media, people are saying that perhaps your documentary is actually, you know, timeless in that sense. It's something that's going to last forever. It's going to be there no matter what, because at the end of the day, it plays such an important role when it comes to history and showcasing history in that sense. But I just want to touch on, you know, your experience at the Durban International Film Festival. Now, I know that 2 of your films were actually, you know, showcased at that event. And also the one was actually an Al Jazeera documentary, if I'm not mistaken. I just wanted to find out, what was the feel like when it came to the event? Like, how did people's feedback come back in terms of, you know, the actual screening of it and the experience as well?
Okay, I have to make a difference between what happened inside the festival and what happened beside the festival. So inside the festival, we had the goal, which is the story of those 4 Palestinian young men trying to keep their goal to reach Asian qualification 2025. That was the showcase that I had in that festival. And the reaction were, I was so pleased to see, you know, even South African teenagers saying, wow, when just seeing just 5 minutes of it. And of course the industry welcomed this project, and I have a very good connection with people who want to support this film and people who want to distribute this film and people who would like to be co-producer to this film. And this is all thanks to the Palestinian Film Institution that make this event happen, and of course for the Durban Film Festival organizers. They did an amazing work bringing us to here.
Yeah, and I mean, let's not forget the other cities in South Africa as well. We are getting a lot of comments and questions coming in. People are saying, can we actually watch the screening in Johannesburg, in Cape Town? So please let us know, is there any possibilities for people to watch the screening, maybe perhaps over here or in Cape Town as well?
I have to thank Nadia for arranging the screening in the gallery of Durban, and who I believe Nadia, a very famous figure in South Africa, and also the Palestinian embassy. Whoever wants to see the film, they can address either Nadia or the Palestinian embassy or both, and I'll be happy, and the Al Jazeera documentary channel will be happy, more than happy, to have this film all over Africa and to show every South African how Gaza used to be before the Israeli occupation, how Gaza used to be before this. I can't really describe it. How can you describe this war? What you will call it?
I mean, it is an actual was the most horrible thing ever, and I think that's even my next question to you. It's just that, we know that there is this horrible genocide that happened, and it's still happening. 2/3 of the strip is practically already demolished, which is horrible. But what message do you have to the people who perhaps come up to you and ask you about the future of Palestine? How does Palestine look? What message do you have for them?
I think the best message is the message of the 4 players of the Palestinian national team. We will stay, we will remain, we will think about life, and we will win the death around us.
It's very, very powerful. I just want to touch on that just before we let you go as well. The fact that the Palestinian soccer team is something that a lot of people look at. I mean, they've come to South Africa, they've actually played against some of our teams in Cape Town and Johannesburg. But the fact that, there's a lot of stories, or there's a lot of people can actually resonate very well when it comes to linking sport with, issues that are happening in the world. So we've seen that happen a lot. I mean, in South Africa, we've used rugby, for example, to be able to overcome the issues of apartheid. How do you feel your new film in particular will do in terms of an audience getting more, resonating with it and also seeing the message behind it as well?
I think anyone can be part of supporting this film in order to make it, happening. It's a long journey to do a film. It's a long journey, especially in this situation. I will give you an example. Yesterday, Rafat, one of the players, living in Khan Yunis, you know how many people were killed in his neighborhood? 72. He was sending me messages saying that the tanks are 1 kilometer from me. And maybe this is my last message. And I was, in the middle of the festival speaking to the people, and then I went to the side, start, texting him, you will be okay. You will play with Ronaldo one day. Make sure that you are safe. And then he's saying me, we are evacuating the house again. They send leaflet all over the places, leave. And then I didn't hear from him from 5 to 10:20. You know how much difficult was for me this time? I thought I lost him. And then I was sitting with international producer. Suddenly I got a message from him and I jumped. He's alive, thanks to God, as well as the others. But they are facing the death every day. And the goal of them is to be football players. The goal of the Israeli army is not to have them.
It's true. It's very, very powerful, and hopefully, this film does go to as many people all around the world as possible. Both of your films in particular, and I hope it definitely gets to be able to share with as many people so that more people can understand the messaging and also the importance of the exposure to understand exactly what's happening, in Palestine as well. But again, Marwah, it's such an honor to have you as well. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on INX Prime.
Thank you so much, and thanks again to South Africa and to every South African. I want to address you directly and to tell you thank you for all of your support to Palestine. You know what? When the world is really silent, your voice is like our voice coming through your throat. Thank you so, so, so much.
That's beautiful, guys. We really do appreciate the presence of Marwah here tonight in particular. But guys, that is her, Marwah Tibi, who is actually a Palestinian filmmaker just in South Africa. She was in Durban. She's going to obviously have screenings more around South Africa as well, just to be able to showcase this beautiful film, and also the fact that she has a new one coming up over the next few months as well. But on that note, we are going to take a quick ad break. We'll come right back.